I'm going to do an insight video today. I feel there's a lot of like speeding up of energy at the moment. As we go into the new year, the energy is speeding up, and it's sort of like the frequencies are speeding up, and the vibrations are speeding up. I'm feeling it over the last couple of days, where I've been feeling like that 3D blueprint, which is again that physical outer world, and the outer energy is very much like intensifying, and I feel we're being drawn and we're being sort of directed to try and dissolve that more and more. Sort of like to move away from that 3D reality, that 3D sort of outer world. I know we're all sort of like in our daily sort of lives where we go off to work and we do things like that, but it's about the inner world and it's about what we're creating in there. And I feel like I'm sort of like being more and more directed to dissolve that, and I feel this is happening for a lot of people. And how this will manifest and how this will show itself is through sort of like feeling like you're getting like new ideas, or you're feeling like new inspiration in different areas. And what that will bring up is, it will bring up sort of like opportunities to start to shift and change, one, your reality, but also change your direction. And this is part of what happens with these new energies that are coming up. But it's also about sort of again remaining balanced, remaining centered at the moment. And one of the crystals that really works for me to do that is I've got like a piece of hematite and white calcite. So I always find that hematite for me is a very grounding stone. If I take it and hold on to it, it grounds me. It grounds me into the earth's energy, like the earth's vibration. And so I use that crystal when I feel like that. When I feel like um, I feel a little bit unbalanced, but the imbalance is around sort of like the new sort of like energies coming through, the new shifting, the new insight, and it's about letting go of the old, and it's about releasing it and cleansing it and clearing it. The white calcite is very good for that. Again, it's a white color. It's very much around sort of clarity, purity, truth, um, dissolving, clearing, cleansing. So as this crystal works really well together, it's a like a piece of rock, hematite, and obviously it's surrounded by white calcite. So I use this stone for grounding, and I feel that's very much what's needed at the moment. That we all need to ground in the energy and integrate the energy that's coming through. But it's like the grounding or the integration is also about letting go and releasing. So I mean, I've had a couple of days where I feel like some of the energies that are coming through have intensified, but this is usually when sort of frequencies and energies have shifted and changed, and they're being sort of like they're flowing into our lives, and they're also the great time to change, but they're also a great time of learning, and expansion and expression. And this is what I feel is going on for a lot of people at the moment. Especially this is what I'm feeling at the moment. So it's very much around that. It's very much around sort of again the inner world and the 3D blueprint and the 5D blueprint. They're very different vibrations. One asks you to remain centered, balanced, and in harmony, and the other one is very much around the external world, and you know, being connected and attached, and being distracted. So it's very different kind of energy. Um, the idea is sort of like ascension and the ascension process, and the opening is that once you start to get into that vibration and that frequency, and you truly start to resonate with it, then what happens is then you start to create this 5D blueprint. And when you start to do this, then what happens is, as you open to your infinite source and your infinite being, then things start to flow into your life. If you're feeling like you're stuck, or you're feeling like you're not moving on, then that's the time, really, that's the time to go inside, and to just sit in that energy, and open up to it. Start to trust and allow the flow of the universe to start to come in. Ask your guides, ask your masters, ask your angels to start to really sort of like work with you, and bring the insight and the intuition and the new opportunities in. A lot of the barriers that we have are through sort of how we experience reality and consciousness. I mean, this has been the experience for me in my own life, when I felt like I'm not moving on, or I'm not really shifting. It's more about my perception, and it's about my consciousness at that time, and the energy that um, I'm actually, you know, that I'm resonating with or vibrating with. And also, it's when you start to focus your energy on certain things. If you start to focus your energy on external things, sometimes this can be around like for career, and it can be around sort of like jobs, and it could be around sort of cars and things like that. That sort of stuff. Um, it that's 3D reality again. It's not 5D reality. So it's very much around sort of learning and making that shift. And this is what this time's about, that shift. And it's a big shift. It's a big shift that's been asked, and it's a big shift that's been sort of that we've been connecting to, and we're resonating with. It's a massive shift. It's a massive shift on, you know, it's about how we use our energy. How are we being passionate? How are we being creative? How are we being, you know, how are we sort of opening? How are we expanding? How all these kind of things. Um, yeah, you've got them. You've got like with the universal law of transformation and transmutation. You have the ability anytime to shift your energy, and the shifting is what I feel is really shifted. And I keep using shifting, shifted, and shifted. It's like these sort of like I want to keep using that word because it's like I feel like I want to turn it. It's like I want to turn a dial and I want to shift it. And this is what I feel like I'm being impressed with today. It's very much about shifting your perspective and shifting your reality. But that takes practice, that takes time, and it's about. I mean, we're still. I feel the energy's very much still flowing towards this 3D reality. I mean, I feel like in my own life, and then this is me just talking from my own, and this is what the channel is about. It's my own experiences and sharing them with you through insight and information. And I feel what's the guidance I'm getting. You have to create that kind of platform of 5D reality, and you do that from sort of like sitting within. As I start to connect into it, I've got a golden diamond. Now it's not around me this time, it's just been put into my heart center. And that diamond again is about unity, it's about connection, it's about union, and it's about again that's it's about centeredness. And I feel this is what the message is about today. It's very much around being centered, and this is why I want to talk about like grounding. I want to talk about sort of integration and shifting. You need to be centered and grounded to do that shift, but it's about being very conscious of your own energy, and it's being conscious when it shifts that you shift it back into that center, into that energy, into that union. And then that again will open up this channel for this 5D blueprint and this flow of energy, this information and this insight. The last couple of days I've been reading a lot of things, and there's been things on Facebook around pyramids and Palladians and books to do with Palladians, but they all sort of like go back to, and I feel like this obviously this diamond energy is something that we've had a long time ago in spiritual cultures and realities, but we haven't used it for a long time. And I feel it's very much about the union, but it's about it's about that connection, that alignment to the spirit and the spirit world, and also the physical world. And it's about it sort of it brings it into union. And again, this is that heaven on earth. And I feel this is what this energy is trying to bring through to me personally today. But I also feel it's everything I get is on a personal level. It's there to connect to me, but it's also on a collective level, and this is how spirit works, and this is what it's about. So everything I'm given is an individual lesson for me, but it's also it's a collective vibration and frequency to it. Nothing in spirit is done individually. That's a spirit. That's a physical 3D in the perception. Spirit do not do anything individually. They work in union, they work in harmony, they work in alignment, they work in constant they vibrate, and the frequencies are vibrating, that they work in union with each other, and with different sort of because they're one being, they're one energy that vibrates together. And that one energy has one consciousness that's moving towards, which is you know the goal, which is to be aligned to source, is to be aligned to energy. That spirit don't work in that way. It's a very physical concept that we feel separated. Spirit never feel like that. They feel in union, they feel integrated, they feel very aligned. And this is what this lesson is that when you feel disconnected and you feel like the 3D world is there, and you're getting caught up in with paying the bills and the job and all that, you've shifted into 3D reality, and you're not in union anymore. You're in separation. You've separated. So it's like this kind of consciousness. The 3D consciousness shows an I, but it's but it's not like the I am consciousness. It's an I as a like the ego I. It's not like the infinite I, which is like I is everything and everyone, and we're all interconnected and we're all interlinked. So it's very much around that. So when we're getting caught up and distracted in that, what we've done is lost. See, that I've had those feelings the last couple of days, and again, I can feel energy in my belly, and I always know this when I feel energy in my belly. It's like the stress, the anxiety, or the tension that I'm holding is being released. I've got a beautiful orange colour with that that's bringing balance, harmony, peace. I always feel like orange as well. Like a peachy orange colour is always around like compassion. So it's like universal compassion, universal love. It also connects to the universal master of Kuan Yin, who is very much around sort of universal compassion, and it's nurturing, but it's also about releasing, and it's about sort of remaining. But that sort of the belly energy and the solar plexus energy is very much around sort of like personal power and creation. So it also connects into that. It connects into that kind of energy that's telling you it's all flowing. I mean, I feel like I said, my heart center has got the diamond energy in. Now my belly is really warm, and all this energy is coming out, because I know as I'm talking about this, I'm becoming into alignment again, and as I'm aligning, I'm letting go of those physical things that were bothering me, those physical things that were distracting me. I'm moving from a 3D blueprint again to a 5D blueprint. The 5D blueprint is the inner one, which is the universal law of correspondence, but it's also about light and energy, and you have to walk in that light and energy. That's the 5D blueprint. You are being a light and energy, love, and that's the vibration. And when you move into your energy centers and you move into your energy body, it's very much around that. And like I said, with this piece of hematite and calcite, I feel this is a piece of energy. This is a great crystal to clear and cleanse your energy field. It clears and cleanses it. I feel like hematite does that. And I feel it grounds you as well. It grounds you and integrates things. It's also a good crystal for integrating new sort of like practices and new spiritual practices and new spiritual insights, and integrate them. Hold the crystal, talk to the crystal, sort of, or allow your consciousness to sort of align with it, and then allow the frequency and the vibration of the crystal to sort of like resonate with you and show you and guide you of what you need to do to integrate those practices. Again, as I start to talk about this, I'm seeing like an oak tree, like a big oak tree with like massive sort of roots going into the earth, and that's very much around sort of like grounding. It's very much about strength. It's about protection and all those kind of things, but it's also about growth. Because when I'm seeing the oak tree, it's not sort of like just the branches. It's like a massive sort of like green leaves that have sort of like completely sort of like are growing out of it. So I know it's about growth and it's expansion as well. But we're grounded, we're protected, we've got a lot of strength, and also the oak tree. If you see a big oak tree in symbolic, it's about that energy. There's lots of energy now. There's lots of energy for growth. There's lots of energy for insight and expansion. So don't get caught up. Don't get caught up in those 3D realities, which I feel, some of those energies are coming at the moment. But they've got to, because what's happening is it's shifting and clearing the cycles of the last year as we move into the new cycles of the new spring, the new growth, the new beginnings. And it's very much around that, as it should be in the new year. But I feel that's going to be like January's going to be we're going to have spiritually, I feel like January for all of us, we're going to have quite a lot of clearing to do, a lot of cleansing, and I feel that the beginning of the year is going to be a lot of that. It's going to be set in the blueprint of the 5D reality and the 5D sort of blueprint, and it's about us doing that work. Don't get caught up in old cycles, don't get caught up in old patterns, and it's about them moving forward as we start to move through like February, March, April. We've laid those foundations, and I think as we start to go into like June, July, August, we're going to start to see a shift in vibration again, and as we come near the end of the year, we're going to start to see that sort of like the fruits of what we've done. And it's very much around that. I feel like this is you know, January's definitely going to be quite a cleansing moment, like emotionally, mentally, and physically. So it's very much around that cleansing, that purifying. So I feel like there's a lot of that happening at the moment, and we just got to sort of like keep riding the waves at the moment, but also just keep that focus and that 5D blueprint, because that's the shift, that's the key. Once you shift into that, then the whole spiritual reality changes, and also then obviously your consciousness, your frequency will shift and change, and also how we experience create and co-create will change, because we start to create and attract those opportunities through the law of attraction that we need, for us to start to step into our power and step into our purpose, which is what I've been talking about.